When you consider our world and its population of 6 billion people, it's daunting to try to comprehend that more than 1 billion of these inhabitants live in extreme poverty. These people survive day to day on less than just $1. What if we could reverse this? What if poverty didn't have to exist in our world at all? Grameen Bank in Bangladesh believes poverty can disappear. In 2006, Grameen Bank and its founder, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, received the Nobel Peace Prize for their work as the pioneers of microcredit. In his acceptance speech, Dr. Yunus challenged the world to make credit a human right and put poverty into museums. This is a story from the summer of 2007 when several students from the School of Law at Pepperdine University traveled to Bangladesh. We went to explore the connections between law and the poverty reduction tool of microcredit. What we came back with was more than we could have imagined. Behind each tiny loan is a life that has been changed, an individual or family brought out of poverty. Please join us in this film as we share a few of those lives and their stories that have inspired us. Microcredit is the process of giving tiny loans to the poor to break the cycle of poverty. Microcredit starts with people who are unbankable, too poor to obtain a loan from a commercial bank. These people live in a cycle of poverty where they earn just enough money each day to feed themselves, often through subsistence farming, inconsistent work, or begging. However, if they had access to capital, they could invest it in a way to start making money and break this cycle. Seeing this process is what brought us to Bangladesh.
They're very happy to receive you from America because America is so far from Bangladesh.
Here, we started to observe and understand the microcredit facilitation process. Grameen Bank operates through large microcredit centers, which are composed of small groups of borrowers. To receive a microloan from Grameen Bank, one must be invited by the current members of the group. The entire group is then responsible for repaying the debt of each of its members. In this way, the only new borrowers allowed in are those who the other group members deem trustworthy, and peer pressure plays a big role in Grameen's 95% repayment rate. The groups and centers meet at least once a week to collect money and take care of business. We had the opportunity to observe many of these meetings. I want to introduce you to the first woman we met, Mira. She used to live on less than $1 per day. Now, she's a 26-year-old business owner with 2 daughters, 11 and 7 years old. Her husband walked out on her a few years ago, leaving her to fend for herself. In the culture of Bangladesh, she was in a very tough spot. To give birth to only daughters and no sons is unlucky. Likewise, for a husband to walk out on his wife is looked down upon even more. In spite of this, she became one of the most successful women in her village. Through microcredit, she started and built a large poultry farm, raising thousands of chickens.
She has no good house, very small shared house. She has no cow milk, she has no hen, no chicken. She has no ability to take good clothes and take 3 times food, 3 times meals. During that time, she feels to want to make business by the loan, but there is no organization in this area. Grameen provides the loan and he has to take the facilities from the Grameen Bank first time. And right now, she has a very big tin shed building, 7 rooms.
7 rooms, wow.
Tapore, a very big agricultural land to earn the milk from the cows. Nijeke happy mone koren? Right now she is feeling happy.
As a final story, we were riding a rickshaw down a narrow road one night, just before dusk, when we stopped at a small metal building. Inside, the building was dimly lit, with an organic smell and the hum of a large engine. We met with Shamin, the business owner who had financed his operation through Grameen's microcredit program. Before Grameen, he had nothing, barely enough to even feed his family, if that year's rice harvest was plentiful. After founding and growing his business with Grameen loans, he could generate income on his own, build a better house, and afford to send his kids to school. His business, ironically, is the processing of mustard seed. It was a great illustration of Matthew 17:20. which says that with the faith the size of a mustard seed, we can move mountains. In Bangladesh, millions of people are putting a lot of faith in tiny loans. Shamin's faith just happened to be a mustard seed. Within minutes, the building was flooded with locals, trying to see the foreign visitors. Each of these was a microcredit borrower, and each had his or her life changed through microcredit. And it wasn't just these people, but everyone in the entire village, and millions more in Bangladesh. Microcredit, it seemed, was moving the mountain of poverty before our very eyes. These are just a few of the people we met in Bangladesh. Microcredit is allowing them to flourish and moving us closer to Dr. Yunus's dream of making poverty history. But microcredit as an institution will not continue to grow without the proper legal and business structures in place. For instance, Grameen Bank's microcredit work has been restricted to rural areas, as laws preventing microcredit in urban areas are still in place. Even in the U.S., sanctions and laws against foreign investment restrict the possibilities for channeling money into certain countries. The future of microcredit will be in developing creative ways to supply funds to third world entrepreneurs and creating new micro-enterprises that can scale in undeveloped nations. This future will largely rest in the hands of lawyers, venture capitalists, and first world entrepreneurs who see the great benefits of microcredit and microenterprise. Hopefully in our lifetime, we may see poverty disappear altogether. Microcredit is certainly working toward this goal, but it is not the end. We must find new and creative ways to continue building a solution. And, if Dr. Yunus is right, you may have to take your grandchildren to a museum to show them what poverty was.